and my mom's name is Jennifer, so Jamie and Jennifer. But I call them Poppy and Mommy.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my remote studio in Flagstaff, Arizona. Every summer we come up here to get out of the heat where it's like, 350 degrees in Phoenix. I get to work from anywhere, I get to work outside, I get to enjoy the weather. Azella gets to play outside as opposed to being stuck inside the house all summer while she's out of school. And Jennifer gets to participate in her cult member meetings. Love you! Oh, I'm sorry, I mean her triathlon training, because that is definitely a cult. Anyway, man, have we been dealing with some shit, huh? We're dealing with protests, and we're dealing with police brutality, and we're dealing with race and equality in the workplace, and diversity and inclusion and all these things. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of excited by all of this. Like, we're finally dealing with these issues. I am 52 years old, and in my entire life, we've never dealt with these issues, and now we're dealing with them. So this is an opportunity, and I don't know if this opportunity is gonna come again, and so we need to take advantage of it. And I want to talk a little bit about that, because as I was looking at all the media that's out there, all the press, all the articles, I see a lot of it targeted to white folks. I see a lot of like, here are 10 things that you can do to help. Here are 10 things that you can do to support the Black community, the people of color community. These are things that you can do to support Black Lives Matter. Here are 5 things that you need to hear that are truths. Here are 10 things that make you uncomfortable that you need to get comfortable with. All of this media attention focused on white folks and what they can do. And as I was reading all this, I realized that, there's probably something that we can do. Something that people of color can do to help in this situation. And yeah, we need to protest and we need to have our voices heard, but we need to look at this in terms of what are the things that we can stop doing to help in this situation. And I came up with a list of 10 things, that I've done throughout my life to make people comfortable. And I'm gonna stop doing those things. All right, so let's talk about the list. Number 10, I have never really said anything when someone will come up to me and start speaking Spanish to me when they clearly can't speak Spanish at all. It's the weirdest thing. Someone will come up to me and go, ¿Dónde está el baño? I'm like, what the hell is that? Why are you asking me where the bathroom is? Oh, is that what I said? I took 8 years of Spanish. Or you'll be in a group of friends or people that you're just meeting. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? How's it going? They'll look at me and go, hola. Or where language becomes a thing where someone will say, I watched your presentation. You're so well spoken. What the hell do you think I was gonna sound like? I have a master's degree. I've been at Google for 14 years. What do you think I'm gonna sound like? It's this shocking surprise around language, and it's very strange. So I promise that I am going to stop putting up with that. Please don't ask me where the bathroom is anymore. Number 9, I changed my name so that you could be comfortable. I remember being a little kid, 6, 7 years old, and the teacher would call roll every day because they did attendance that way. And the teacher would say, Jaime? Jaime? And I'd be like, that's me. And the kids would laugh at me. I knew at like 6 or 7 years old that I had this foreign sounding name. In New York City, in one of the most diverse places in the world, my name wasn't Jim, it wasn't Dan, it wasn't Bill, it was Jaime. And it wasn't even Jaime, that was wrong. The irony is that my mother used to call me Danny. My middle name is Daniel, and so at home I was called Danny or Daniel. And then at school I'd say to the teachers, my mother calls me Danny. Can you call me Danny? And they're like, no, not right here in the book. It says Jaime. I'm like, okay, well at least can you say it right? It's Jaime. And I'm like, yeah, I said it, Jaime. And then one day, again, when I was really young, we had a substitute teacher come in and she was doing roll and she's calling out the names and she goes, Jamie? I didn't respond. Jamie. And then she'd look at the list and go, Jamie Cassup. And I raised my hand. And she looks at me and says, why didn't you respond? And some kid in the front row says, that's not his name. His name is Jaime. And she responded with, no. We're in America and we speak English. And your name in English is Jamie. So at a young age, I was told that my name was a foreign name. And so I went with Jamie. And I thought I was slick. And I was getting away with this whole thing around like, okay, call me Jamie. At least I can deal with that. If you're not gonna call me Dan, at least call me Jamie. And then in 4th grade, there was a new show called The Bionic Woman. and the character's name in The Bionic Woman was Jamie Summers. So from 4th grade, I was traumatized with Jamie Summers, the Bionic Woman, and Jamie became a girl's name. And so I'd get reaction from kids back then saying, why do you have a girl's name? Because all of a sudden the word Jamie was a girl's name. And then that has stuck with me all through my adulthood even. And when someone will come up to me and say, is your name Jaime? I'm like, no, it's Jamie. Because I don't want to get into a 5-minute conversation about how you mispronounce my name and how my name isn't Jaime, but it's rather Jaime, and you can't say it, so I don't want to get into it, because when we do, it ends up, you say, oh, okay, cool. And then 3 minutes later, you're like, so Jaime, I'm like, mispronouncing my name drives me insane. So I just go with Jamie. But my favorite is when I'm meeting someone, I'm shaking their hand like we used to back in the olden days, and I say, hi, how you doing? I'm Jamie. And the person looks at me and goes, no, you're not. You're Jaime. Like they're telling me what my name is. Like they're educating me on Spanish culture. It's insane. So here's the deal. When I tell you what my name is, call me that. Because I don't go around, if your name is Bill and I go, Biz? Is your name Biz? Or if your name is Jimmy, I don't go, I'm sorry, is your name Himmy? Is that how you say it? Himmy? If you can't pronounce it, say you can't pronounce it. Don't pronounce it the way you think it needs to be pronounced. Number 8, I realized that I don't really listen to hip hop music or Latin music a lot in public settings. Like, I listen to it in my house and in my car, but if I'm at work and we have the radio on, I don't typically listen to hip hop music. I don't listen to Latin music. And I realize that it's because of all the comments that I've heard throughout my life, where somebody will come in and have commentary and say things like, why are you listening to that jungle music? Or like, ugh, I can't stand that music. Ugh, why do you like rap? I can't stand rap. And they would give me their opinions or comments on it. Or you're listening to salsa and somebody will come in and say, what the hell are they saying? Why are you listening to things that nobody understands? And so I unconsciously would, somebody would come in, I'd lower the volume. Or I would listen to, Dave Matthews Band or something. I don't know who that is. I'm gonna stop doing that too. I'm gonna listen to my music, and if you don't like it, that's your problem, not mine. Number 7, I wear my Yankees hat backwards because I realize that when I wear it forward, I've gotten comments about it, or it makes people uncomfortable. Yo, you look like a gangster. You look like a thug. Well, this is the way I like to wear it, so this is how I'm gonna wear it from now on. Number 6, I realized that slang and the slang I grew up with made people uncomfortable, so I avoided using it. And it's ironic because when the slang word makes it into the mainstream, it becomes okay, but if you're using it in your own terms, before it becomes a popular term, people have a negative reaction to it. They'll say things like, why are you talking like that? Why are you talking like you're from the street? But once it becomes mainstream, then it's okay. Once you accept it, it becomes an okay word. So I'm gonna bring back slang. The problem is that I haven't spoken in slang in so long, I have no idea what the hip words are. So if you have hip words that are new, that I need to be saying, jot them down below, because I only know the slang from the 80s. Yo, that shit is fat. That movie was the bomb. You can't ball, you a scrub. That track was whack. Word up! Okay, maybe we should just leave those words in the 80s. Number 5, I participated in the avoidance of talking about traumatic events that are happening in this country. It's the most insane, surreal experience where something insane happens in this country, especially around race, where a 12-year-old boy gets murdered because he's got a toy gun in his hand, or a person who is in Walmart picks up a toy gun or a fake gun and gets murdered because he does that, or any other racial issues, whether it involves police or whether it involves a lynching, whatever is happening, you go to work and it's like it's never happened. Nobody ever talks about it. Meanwhile, nobody has a problem talking about The Bachelor or what happened on the episode the night before, but you bring up like, did you see that murder last night? How terrible that was? I don't want to talk about that. No, don't. No, that makes me uncomfortable. Please don't talk about that. Let's not pretend that these things aren't going on, especially at work, because they impact us. They affect us. They bring us down. They affect our productivity. So we should be talking about these things. Number 4, I've always put up with the question, so, where are you from? What's your background? It's a weird question. New York? No, 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 no. Where are you from? Where? I don't ask you that question. Does anybody ever ask you that question? Where are you from? The question is, you look exotic. You don't look like us. You look different. Where are you from? And the problem is, I don't want to get into a complicated answer. I'm 26% from Southern Europe, which is Spain. When they came over to Latin America, I'm 26% Middle Eastern because my father was born in Syria. I'm 26% Native American. Do you really want me to get into a 15-minute description of where I'm from? I'm a mutt. I'm from everywhere. I don't ask you where you're from. Let's not ask me where I'm from. I'm from New York. Number 3, I have avoided punching people in the face who say things like, I'm not a racist. I have a black friend. Or, I don't see color. I wasn't brought up that way. Jennifer and I were going to Africa 10 years ago, and we had a couple say to us, oh, you're going to Nairobi. Oh, you have to connect with our friend. Our friend lives in Nairobi, and you need to know somebody there. And this friend can definitely show you around. And then you realize that their friend is the safari driver that they spend 2 days with and with 12 other people, and they feel like that person is now their best friend. In the same vein, I've let people explain racism to me. I've let them explain equity to me. You know, not all white people are racist. There are poor white people, and if they were racist, they wouldn't be poor. I've heard that argument. Or what about reverse racism? My favorite term in the world. If you're using any of this terminology, I don't see color, I'm not a racist, the reverse racism, any of those things, what you need to understand is that you don't get it. And I promise that I'm gonna start helping you realize that. Number 2, and this one is just recent, it's happened over the last couple of years, where people come up to me and say, hey, you know what? You remind me of Lin-Manuel Miranda. You look like him, you sound like him, you kind of act like him.
Put a pencil to his temple, connected it to his brain, and he wrote his first refrain, a testament to his pain.
Okay, that one you can just keep saying. I don't mind that one. I'm okay if you think I'm Lin-Manuel Miranda, because I want to be in the room where it happens. And the number one thing that I've done to make you comfortable is I've avoided talking to you about all the times that I've dealt with racism in my life. And I promise to stop doing that. And that's why I think that we are at a unique opportunity where for the first time in my lifetime, we can talk about these issues. They're out in the open. We realize that these things are true now, and now we can deal with them. Because if I said to you in 2010, hey, I think I was discriminated against at work, you'd say, come on, no you weren't. Look who's in the White House. Look, did you see who's in the White House? Come on, that was 400 years ago. We're way past racism. Besides, how can you have dealt with racism? Look where you work. Look at your career. Look what you've been able to accomplish. You think that you'd be able to be where you are today if you were dealing with racism? Or if I told you that I think I had a very unique traffic stop by a cop because the cop asked me if the white woman sitting next to me was my wife. And then when I said yes, he asked me what I did for a living. And then he asked me, how much money do I make? And if I told you that story, you'd say, you're reading too much into it. Oh, let me tell you a story about what happened to me. Or you'd say, you know, he was probably just having a bad day. You're overblowing it. And so when you get answers like that, you stop talking about it. You stop processing it. You stop bringing it up to people because you just can't deal with the rejection of how you feel anymore. And so I promise not to do that anymore. We need to talk about these things. We need to bring them up. We need to tell people what our experiences are. And your response doesn't need to be an example of how this happened to you. All you need to do is listen. All you need to do is acknowledge the story. You don't have to believe it if you don't want to. Just say, I'm listening, I hear you. You must have felt terrible. Or you must have been scared. Or that must have made you really angry. So that's my list. Those are the things that I've done over my lifetime that I promise to stop doing because we have a role to play in this as well. We can't avoid these subjects because it makes other people uncomfortable. Our job, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, is to make people uncomfortable. That's what we have to do. That's what's going to move us forward. What's on your list? What are the things that you've done to make people comfortable? Jot them down below, put them on the list, and let's look at those. Let's talk about those. All right, well, if you like this video, click the like button, hit the notification button, subscribe to the channel, share this with others. I appreciate your support. I hope everyone stays safe, secure. I hope everyone's using their voice. I hope everyone's ready to go vote in November. In every election that they face, everything from dog catcher all the way to the presidential election, that's how we can bring change, is by using our voice and exercising our right to vote. All right, that's it for today. I will see you guys the next time. Thanks.
I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve.